Bate Borisov 0, Chelsea 1. Olivier Giroud finally gets his first goal of the season to get us the 3 points, but Chelsea get extremely lucky today as Bate hit the woodwork 3 times and missed a number of other big chances as well. With their win, Chelsea do secure promotion to the knockout stages, but the performance left a lot to be desired. To find out everything about the game as it happened, make sure you watch all of this review. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my review of the Bate Borisov 0, Chelsea 1 game. And Jesus Christ did we get lucky today. Bloody hell. I mean, just in the last second I was losing it. I mean, that was so tense and it shouldn't have been. We were awful today, quite frankly. We were awful, but we got to win, and at the end of the day that's kind of what matters most. Results matter more than performances, even though that kind of makes it sound like Conte or Mourinho, but you know, they do, but still, you know, that wasn't very good today at all. But before getting into the review, let me ask you again to please follow me on my social media. That would be massively appreciated. To keep up to date with, you know, what I'm feeling basically throughout games as well, or, you know, throughout the week, of course, when I'm not uploading videos. Make sure you follow me on my Twitter, or just, you know, check out my Instagram, because why not? Follow me over there. I'd massively appreciate that. You can see over here, Laos1507 on both of them, and the links to them will be down in the description. And also, let's see whether we can hit 500 or more likes in this video. That'd be absolutely amazing. So make sure you smash that like button. But now getting into the review and starting it off with the lineup. And there was kind of one minor surprise in there, although overall it was pretty much as expected. It was obviously the 4-3-3 as it always is. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, then a back four of David Zappacosta and Emerson Palmieri as the two fullbacks rather. Andreas Christensen and Gary Cahill as the two centre-backs. Then a midfield three of Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek and Ross Barkley. You know, I said yesterday I didn't expect them to start together, but they did. And then a front three of Eden Hazard, who did start, Pedro on the right and Olivier Giroud up front. You know, we did start with Loftus-Cheek on the left and Barkley on the right, you know, of our midfield, but that, you know, they swapped positions constantly throughout the game, so it was kind of difficult where to put them in the lineup that I've obviously put up on screen. But getting into the game, I mean, we didn't start anywhere near as well as we did against them at Stamford Bridge when we were 2-0 up within 8 minutes. You know, throughout most of the game, but especially early on, we were just way too sloppy, like so many sloppy passes and no real danger for Bate Borisov's keeper at all. And the first actual chance of the game was a chance for Bate, and it was a big chance as well, as they hit the post with a strike from almost 30 yards, I'd say. Lazy from our midfield, I'd say, something that Sarri will be fuming with, as he obviously likes his team to press and be tied to the opponents. We did manage to clear the rebound from them hitting the post, but from that corner, it got very worrying again. Kepa made a good save, but then, you know, the ball was still bouncing around in our box and Bate got close to putting it in. And it took us ourselves 18 minutes to create our first only half chance through Olivier Giroud, who controlled a good, you know, Barkley pass really well and took the shot on the volley, but, you know, he did put it wide. It was a difficult chance for Giroud, but it was the only kind of half chance that we had. And with that, we kind of started to take a little bit of control of the game and, you know, had a lot of possession, but didn't manage to do anything with it, to be honest. I mean, as much as we weren't great, or rather poor, but they were also a lot better, you know, than they were 2 weeks ago. We have to give credit to them as well. More solid defensively, not as sloppy on the ball, and just generally a lot more organised than they were at Stamford Bridge. You know, mainly they just crowded the middle so badly, you know, with everything and everyone they had. Forced us to go wide, forced us into crossing the ball. And then they had so many people in their box that we obviously struggled to find, you know, a teammate with, you know, any of our crosses. So obviously that's going to make it difficult. That's why, you know, teams that are, you know, of a lower level play like that. But, you know, it was difficult. The only one that actually made some good runs that we could have done something with was Hazard. But for some reason, none of the other players ever tried to actually feed the ball to him when he made those runs. I mean, sometimes it just made you scratch your head. You know, it was ridiculous. Like, some of those passes were not easy maybe, but quite obvious, at least on TV. Obviously, that's always different to being on the pitch, but on TV, they looked very obvious. I'm like, just passing the ball. Like, in almost all of our other games, we tried those passes, but today we just didn't, and I don't really know why. I mean, Olivier Giroud found himself with another chance, you know, later on in the half, but it took us so long that by then there was only 5 minutes left of that first half. I mean, the Frenchman got on the end of a Hazard corner, but the ball was a bit high and a bit behind him, so you know, he had to lean back and his header went slightly wide of the far post, and that was then really it for the first half. Obviously at 0-0, and quite frankly, it was dire. Absolutely dire. As the weather in Borisov was, you know, tonight. Just 3 degrees apparently, and very foggy. Like, it wasn't even great to see, you know, to watch the game. You know, especially with the kit we were wearing, this, like, you know, the third kit, the grey or whatever it was. So it wasn't even easy to see the players you know, sometimes really. I mean, we had 79% of the ball, but zero shots on target in that first half. We were not good enough. Even if Bate defended well and made it difficult, we just weren't good enough. All 3 of our midfielders were poor, to be quite honest, and that didn't change for throughout the second half. Spoiler alert, that didn't change at all. Sloppy passing, but especially they were just way too slow to release the ball. But getting into the second half, thankfully, very soon into that second half, in the 52nd minute, Olivier Giroud made it 1-0 with actually a very nice header following a quality cross by Emerson from the left. And, Giroud got on the end of it, headed it into the ground from maybe just about closer than the penalty spot, right next to the post and in. And like I said in the intro, it was the Frenchman's first goal of the season in all competitions and his first goal for Chelsea since May when he scored against Liverpool, which has obviously, it's been a while, but, he did score and got us the 3 points though. So, thank God for that. Only 5 minutes after we, scored the 1-0 though, Bate hit the frame of the goal again, for a second time this game. Cahill with a horrendous pass to Jorginho, who was under a lot of pressure from an opponent and lost the ball basically before he ever had it. And that put us into trouble already, but then some more poor defending led to Bate again taking a stride from well outside the box. And, the Bate striker, Signovic, I think his name is, got a touch onto that strike that came flying in from outside the box, got a touch on it. Apparently he was onside. I didn't see a replay of that bit. And he got a touch on it, but put it against the underside of the bar, but where it luckily didn't go in, but fell into Kepa's arms actually from bouncing, on the ground. So again, very lucky. Moments after that, another huge chance for Bate. Again, poor from ourselves defensively. A low cross, missed everyone in the box. A low cross by Bate, missed everyone, their striker and our defenders. But he didn't miss their right winger who came storming into the box, onto the ball, but thankfully properly skied it from about 15, 16 yards or so. So again, lucky. This is the key word of this video. Lucky. Just very lucky. Hazard then actually had a decent chance to make it 2-0 straight after, those two big chances for Borisov after a great pass from midfield. I didn't see who played the pass, but a great pass it was. And Hazard, I thought he looked like he was, considering taking it on the volley on his weaker left, but he decided against it as he was already inside the box. But then his touch kind of let him down and the chance was basically gone as he had to kind of go around the defender. He did end up taking a shot, but that was a very easy shot to save for the keeper. Willian then came on to replace Hazard in the 62nd minute, which is already, 12 minutes more than Sarri said Hazard would play as a maximum. And a few minutes after that, Kovacic came on to replace Loftus-Cheek with, another heading chance for Giroud in between those two substitutions following a corner. And, the keeper just about tipped, Giroud's head over the bar. But he really should have saved it, but even though it was a little bit close. After those substitutions, the game was still, quite a bit crazier than the first half, but it did calm down a little bit for, a certain period anyway. Although it was still a lot more open, than the first half, and there was still a few almost moments on both sides. Some crosses that just about didn't find, their target, some shots that flew wide or over, and some final passes that just about were overhit or not accurate enough to actually create proper chances. Like we had one, I can't remember who passed the ball, but to Willian or Giroud, basically as we were kind of counter-attacking them. And we just overhit the pass. I think it might have been Barkley, although I'm not 100% sure. And again, there were just no replays today. It was annoying, very annoying. But, we overhit that. If that pass is an overhit, we probably make it 2-0. And the last bit of the game is a lot more calm. But it wasn't. Kalamazodai actually then came on for Pedro in the 85th minute. But to be honest, I'm not even sure if he got to touch the ball because at the end, it was just Bate. With 3 minutes to go, they had a decent chance, which they thankfully put just wide. And then literally in the last second of the game from a corner, Bate hit the post for a third time, the woodwork for a third time. It was ridiculous, after the corner, like I said already, the Bate player, it kind of got cleared from the box, and then the Bate player just took the rebound on the volley from outside the box, hit it straight against the post, similar to their first, shot against the post, I suppose. But then actually Gary Cahill with an outstanding clearance to rescue the 3 points as he got there just ahead of the Bate player who, as obviously, Kepa went flying to try and save the shot. It went against the post. Kepa was still kind of down as it rebounded. And, Cahill just about got that to clear it. Very good clearance by Cahill. And that was then full-time at 1-0 to Chelsea. And, today was competition for the derby game last week to be our worst performance of the season because that was absolutely horrendous today. Absolutely horrendous. Quite frankly, like I said already, about 500 times already this video, we got very, very lucky in 3 or 4 situations. And I have to say, even though we had 75% of the ball, Bate deserved at least a point today. Probably deserved to win, but they deserved at least a point. We were just awful. Basically every single player was, to be honest. Giroud scored and Everson assisted him. But that's about the only good thing anyone did today. And, the Cahill clearance in the last second, I suppose. I can't fault Kepa for anything, but the defence was all over the place. The fullbacks, except Emerson's assist, didn't do anything significant going forward. Even, every midfielder was poor. Even Kovacic that came on, Jorginho was poor. So many misplaced passes, even though the two in front of him didn't help him. But still, some very easy passes that he misplaced. Looked like completely different players today, Jorginho. I don't know what was happening. But especially the two English boys, Barkley and Loftus-Cheek, they were just horrendous, to be quite honest. They were so poor. So many misplaced passes, not even trying passes that would actually somewhat help us score. You know, they just passed it sideways most of the time, or they ran with it and ended up losing it. So it was all over the place. I mean, they took way too long on the ball, like I said, you know, in the first half already, and, you know, they just didn't even make any right decision, basically. It was wrong decision after the other, left, right and centre. It was all over the place, and the forwards, well, it's a bit difficult to say much about the forwards. Obviously, Giroud scored, it's a fair play, and that was important, so he did kind of well in that sense. But other than that, you know, Hazard was kind of the best one of the lot, even though he obviously only played an hour. But then Pedro didn't really do much. Giroud didn't really see much of the ball. We kind of kept playing through balls to him, even though he constantly kept coming deep to receive the ball. So it was just poor. So it's difficult to criticise the forwards much when the midfield behind them was just very poor, but, you know, they definitely weren't great either. But obviously somehow we did manage to get the win and have therefore now secured qualification to the knockout stages. But as VD did manage to beat PAOK by 1-0 in Hungary, we still need 1 point from the last 2 games, or, you know, VD not beating Bate in the next game to make sure that we finish top of the group. Obviously that would be important, but at least, I mean, we're through, so it's a bit calmer now. I mean, you know, can we really afford to play much worse teams than we have done? Because 3 of our 4 wins have been 1-0s. You know, kind of scrapey 1-0s, except PAOK. That wasn't all that scrapey, but, you know, VD and, you know, today were very scrapey as well. So, you know, not great, but, you know, we have secured qualification to the knockout stages, so that is all well and good. And we are now the only unbeaten team in all of Europe's top 5 leagues, as Juventus and Dortmund, who were, you know, the only unbeaten teams along with us last weekend, suffered the first defeats this week. Obviously, Juventus against United yesterday and Dortmund against Atletico on Tuesday. So, you know, we are now the only unbeaten team in all of Europe in the top 5, you know, leagues, which is great. But, you know, those 2 are positives that were through to the knockout stages and, you know, the only unbeaten team. But the performance today really wasn't. Like, it really wasn't a positive at all. And if we want to beat Everton on Sunday, we're going to have to improve a lot. But yeah, to be honest, that's really it for me. I don't have much more to say. Leave me all of your thoughts, you know, on the game down in the comment section below. Anything you have to add, you know, just down in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 500 or more likes in this video. That would be massively appreciated. So make sure you smash that like button. Of course, don't forget to check out my social media, which is Lars607 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, and also the links to both of them will be down in the description. So if you could follow me over there, that would be absolutely class. And obviously, this is YouTube. So if you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell button and choose to be notified with all uploads so you don't miss any of our future videos. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Very lucky today. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.